Welcome to the Mindset Connection podcast, where we showcase everyday people who are doing extraordinary things in the space of mental health and wellness. We are back for our 23rd episode. That's incredible. So thank you. And if you're just tuning in, I am Jennifer Clearwaters, and this is Cynthia O'Connell. And we are here with another amazing guest today, my friend, Rachel Arterberry. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So let me tell you a little bit about Rachel. Rachel and I met when we were on a semester abroad program in Sevilla, Spain during our junior year of college. So we had an instant bond along with our other friend, Jen Versace. Hi, Jen. And we ended up doing everything together while we were in Spain. And now our friendship has lasted over 30 years, which is incredible because, if you have a really good friend in a really strong friendship, you know that they do not come into your life very often. So Rachel and I have seen each other through ups and downs, good times, bad times, and all kinds of things. So today we are here to showcase Rachel's career. She is an editor, a ghostwriter, an author, a business owner, and started off working in corporate business, which Cindy will talk to her more about. She decided to leave her well-established career in 2012 to pursue a different life. She had 2 young children at home and a husband who was dealing with a serious medical condition, and Rachel decided to start writing and dreaming about a new career path. So writing and editing became a passion for her, and as she became more skilled and more experienced, she knew she could help others fulfill their dreams of becoming published authors. So Rachel now owns her company called Making Away Writing, where she edits and writes and ghostwrites on topics such as business, leadership, self-help, biographies, memoirs, developmental editing, and copy editing services. So Rachel has used all of her gifts and talents to help others bring their ideas to life. And just so you know, Rachel is also the editor for our book, The Elevation Principles, who we could not have done that book without her. So thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Rachel, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm meeting Rachel in person, many times on Zoom, where she would correct Jen and I.
No one understands that.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Wait, right. You're writing this way and this that way, and it needs to be uniform. And she is a wonderful editor, and I highly recommend her. And we have recommended her.
Yes, you have.
Others have taken us up on that. So you started your career in corporate. Tell us how you went from college to corporate, and then how you ended up opening your own
Doing what I'm
business.
doing.
Yes, exactly.
So, kind of interesting trajectory. I thought we all do. We have big plans, right? I thought I wanted to go into international business and maybe travel the world and work for multinational companies, which I did. I ended up working for several multinational companies. I managed logistics and inventory and supply chain management, and then life changed, as it does. Right? We all have big plans and we think that it's going to go a certain way. And when it doesn't, what do? Well, we stress out, we freak out, and we have to roll with the punches. In 2012 or 2011, my husband was diagnosed with a pretty serious medical condition. We didn't know what was happening. And at that time in my corporate career, I was working very long hours, navigating a very long commute, an hour and a half each way. And we had 2 small children. So I couldn't be the corporate person I wanted and the wife I wanted and the mom. So I said, something has to change. My husband had already had surgery, and I had already decided to write his book. And it was a story about his life and what happened to him and how he navigated a very tumultuous relationship with his family, his childhood, and where he was in his career, and of course his medical condition. And I thought, wow, I really like this writing thing. Like, we just sat at my kitchen table and we talked like we're doing today. And I wrote notes, and I said, I'm actually pretty good at this thing. Surprisingly, like, I think I was shocked that I could do something other than what I had been studying for and what I thought my passion had been all those years. And I said, you know what, let me see if I can do something with this. And at that point, again, because I was so unsure about where I stood with everything, it was so crazy and stressful. And what did I do? I said, okay, let me take a step back and figure this out. Let me decide what I'm going to do here. So I went to my company and I said, I don't think you need me anymore. And they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But I truly believed in my plan, and I had a plan. My plan was going to be, I am definitely a planner. My plan was that I was going to get a job. And I always say I had a career and I took a job. And I wanted to get a job where I could now start writing a little bit and understanding, what does this mean? What does it mean to write professionally? I'm like, can I even make any money? And so I started just putting this out there, and going to the HR, and they were like, you are crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You're not going anywhere. And for about 6 months, I did this, and I kept going to them and saying, well, if you do this and move me around and put other people in my position, and you can get rid of this and do that. And then again, they kept kind of putting me off. Eventually, they were like, wow, we can do that. And we can save money because we cut Rachel's salary out. And as things happen, a friend of mine's husband needed somebody to work for their small business, and there was my job. So
they finally let you go.
Finally let me go at my corporate. I worked for a multinational company. They finally let me go, and of course, my plan was I needed that severance package to go with it. And I took a job, but my job was kind of multi-pronged. It was a job. I needed to pay the bills. But it gave me the time now to start writing, and it gave me the time to be mom, and it gave me the time to be with my husband, and just it made everything come in line with what I saw as a vision of what I wanted to do.
So you changed your priorities.
Absolutely.
And you put what was really important first.
And how many people who have been on this show have told us that their great big thing that they're doing now didn't start from that they had to say, I have to do what my priorities are right now, and someday I'm going to get to that.
And think about it. Now it's, this was 2012 that I started that.
I recognize that.
It was amazing because what I did was I went to work for that job, and I did work there for 8 years. But while I was at that job, I worked at 8:30 to 4:30 or something, and it was mom. But then in the evening, I started writing, and I used all the online resources that I could find, different platforms that I could put my services out there, and I took on any job I could find.
Small steps.
Baby
but
steps.
also, I just want to repeat what you just said. You worked 8:30 to 4 or 4:30. You have 2 kids. You have a husband who has some health issues, and now you're writing at night.
Yeah.
So basically, you're on 24/7.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And we always hear that, though. All of these people that we've had on that have created and done things, they've done that little side hustle, little bits at a time. But you have to be willing to put the work in.
Exactly.
Which you are. So my next question is then, you have a job and you're doing this extra hustling and you're getting there. How did you get to the point of saying, you know what, I'm going to have the guts to say, I'm going to make my own business now? Because that's
after
a big
8
step.
years.
After 8 years of being just in a
Yeah.
job, then you're going to say, now I'm really going to put myself out there. Because I remember, and we laugh about this. Sorry, Mark. I always say this. When I did that and I started my private practice, he knows. But this is my husband. When I decided to leave my job and start a private practice, that's the first thing that he asked me was, who's going to come?
Right.
And it
Just
was a
classic.
well-meaning, real question. Because when you're starting something new, how do you know that anyone is going to?
And you don't.
Nobody knows you. You are unknown. And how are you going to get any work? It could be a complete bust, and that scares a lot of people away.
I was really fortunate in the fact that over those 8 years, I was starting to get, I don't want to say following, I was getting my clientele. I was getting repeat clients, people that were authors that now were making, maybe like you guys are writing your second book, right? Or referring, or referring me to people. And I also use all these online platforms. So I was starting to build up this business, and I put it out there. And I actually said, someday I'm going to have my own business. I'm going to do this full time. And I actually put out a number. I actually verbally said the number of money, the amount of money I wanted to earn. And actually it was a blessing in disguise. This is horrible to say, but COVID. When COVID hit, my job let me go. And I had a decision to make. Although it was not originally in my plan. I had no idea as to how long I would stay at the job, how long I would do this side gig. I knew what my dream was. I didn't know the timing, right? Because we don't know the timing of anything. The timing worked out that when COVID hit, my job let me go. And I said, okay, it's now or never. Now I either go find another job or I start my own. So it was a very a dividing line right there.
Yeah. Okay. So you're an author. You told us that you kind of assisted
Yep.
or guided
Mm-hmm.
your husband in the
Yep.
writing of his book. So tell us about that. And then do you have another book too?
So I wrote, the book is called God Was Holding My Hands. That's about my husband's life story.
Right.
And it was great. It was my first experience with writing, and I loved the process. What I didn't love is the marketing and the promotion and the book tour and the book signings. I realized that wasn't me. What I realized is I love to be behind the scenes and helping people do it, because everybody has a different vision as to why they weren't writing their book, right? You guys are writing it for your business and to help people. I realize now that over the last however many years I've been doing this, I've helped hundreds of people with their dream, right? Whether I come in and I write their book as a ghostwriter, or I come in like with both of you and I do the editing work, I'm helping you with your dream. And that's completely fine with me, because once we're done, now I've helped you, made you guys happy, helped you fulfill something, and I move on to the next one. And I do the same thing with somebody else. So I realized that as an author, it wasn't
you.
Wasn't me.
So I have to ask you, what did you major in college?
Funny.
Yeah.
So my husband laughs at me because I have a lot of degrees.
Okay.
I have 2 master's degrees, one in international management and another in management science, which is like operations. And then I have a bachelor's
Probably
degree.
like supply chain.
That's exactly what it is.
major
That's
right
exactly
now.
what it is.
Nothing that is journalism based.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't. Nothing.
That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Nothing journalism based. I have my undergrad degree is in international business and another in Spanish. So nothing to do with journalism, which people
So
ask me all the
everyone out there, if you're
time.
not sure what you want to do, you might change careers. Here you go.
And I always say I'm
example.
on my third, like when I talk to clients, I always say I'm on my third career. It doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter.
long as you have a passion
but
for
do
it.
you see that they interweave?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So what I love what I do now, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that it was my education that gave me the foundation to do what I do, because
Mhm.
I can easily sit in a room with a CEO or a founder and have a conversation about his or her book about business, because I have a business background.
Yeah.
I could talk about leadership because I've managed tons of people. I can talk about self-help because, well, we all have to do that, right? I can talk about these
Some
things
do it better
because-
than others.
Agreed. Nobody's better than you two. So, but I feel like my business background, and because it was in international business and I've worked for multinational companies, I have had clients all over the world
Mhm.
And you
because
have good
I
communication
can
skills.
communicate.
Yes.
I understand cultures. I understand the nuances of little things that you do that many people don't understand. Right. So it has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and I will say that when obviously these two are friends, and I didn't know Rachel, and when I met her over Zoom, I immediately connected. And when you can connect with someone over Zoom, and I said to Jen, yeah, she's the right person.
She's the real deal.
She's the real deal. Exactly. So tell us about ghostwriting. What does that even mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. So ghostwriting means that I am the pen to paper. I always say I'm literally just a resource. So you have great ideas. You have great ideas. You can both be great communicators, but not everybody can put their words on paper.
Yep.
And it's a different way of communicating, right? I don't necessarily communicate. I don't consider myself a great communicator. Like I wouldn't get on a stage to communicate with, or do a speech. That's not my thing. I'm just not as well versed in it. But when it comes to putting those words on paper for you, I can take your words and make them sound just a little better. Maybe make them a little bit more readable, make them a bit, make the storyline a little bit more robust or enhanced. So that's what I do. So I do a lot of interviewing. I do a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of audio calls. I record them all. So now what that does is
It gives you you can go back and go, oh,
right. And I
this is
can
what they
pay
were
attention
saying.
to you.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on what you're saying to me, and I'm not having to scribble notes the whole time.
Yeah. Isn't that
I
great?
wanna be
Because you
able
are
to
giving you
ask-
present moment
Right.
attention.
I need to be able to ask you questions. As you're telling me you're possibly triggering, traumatic, challenging, right? Joyous story. I need to be able to listen to you and ask a question that's going to be relevant to what you're saying. And not only that, how does your reader hear it? right? I need to be able to hear it and understand it so I can translate that to say, okay, you know your story very well, but I need to explain it to the reader in a way that the reader's going to understand.
That happened to us when you were writing our book. Like, we gave you, I always tell people, we gave Rachel like a 100-page Google document, and she gave us back a manuscript. And we were like, oh God.
It's
but
true.
I remember you saying, like, you know what? Someone out of your industry isn't going to know who this person is, or isn't going to understand.
That was
like,
a really
was a
important
big
tip.
part. Like, if you've seen our book, we have quotes by all different people, and we never explained them
Who
they were because they made sense to us. And you were saying, well, how do you, I may not know who that person is, or you may not know what they're really trying to say.
Everybody doesn't know Bruce Lee.
Yes. And when you said that, Cindy and I were like, oh my God, we have like 200 quotes. Go back and fix them all. And we were like, okay. But it made sense. So like, that's kind of stuff. How are you pulling this out of people? Because, people have these stories and they don't even know what to share with you.
Well, the thing is, we're all subject matter experts in our own way, right? And we know the content so well that we don't understand what the reader doesn't know.
Right.
And so even as a role, my role as a developmental editor, I get a lot of manuscripts where somebody says, it's done. It's all done. You just need to check it for spelling, grammar, punctuation. I'm like, okay, great. And when I do that, I realize, okay, I'm a clean slate. I don't know you. I don't know your story. I'm the reader. And I put my reader's hat on and I say, okay, well, what happened between this time period and this time period? And so it's those questions that I ask, like, well, what did you intend to say here? Because I don't understand. I don't know what you're trying to tell the reader. Again, because I'm the reader. I'm clean. I'm fresh pair of eyes. You know it. But let's say you're trying to explain, let's use yoga. If you're going to explain to someone how to do
this last
that's
night.
right. If you're trying to explain to somebody how to do a particular pose, well, you know that pose backwards and forwards, but they don't. If you leave out that middle step, how do they know that you left it out? They don't. So it's my job as the editor or ghostwriter to get you to tell that story. Like, I'll say, well, Jen, how do I get from downward dog into plank? How do you do that? You have to make sure I'm trying to pull out of you
the details. How do you do that? Like for us, since we're friends and you connected with Cindy right away, you would literally say like, fix this because it didn't make sense, right? But how do you do that with people without making them defensive? Because they're literally trusting you with, this is their baby. So you can see how people could be put off if you're going, well, that doesn't, they're going to hear it as you don't like it.
Well, the first thing I tell all of my clients, and I probably even told you guys, is if I'm not being honest with you, I'm doing you a disservice. You're paying me to do a task. You're not paying me to be like, Cindy, this is so awesome.
Right.
Leave it just the way it is. And now let's say I do that with all of my clients and then the readers get it in their hands and they're like, well, this is terrible. Why would Jen and Cindy put this book out? It's terrible. So I preface all of my communication with my authors is I have to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you and transparent. And if I'm not, why are you paying me? So they have to understand. If you don't want that,
you're not the right person for them.
That's right. Because you could have given it to your friends and they love you, right?
People, like, oh, it's great.
They come to me all the time. They say, well, my friends and family all say that the book was wonderful. I'm like, of course they said that. That's their job, right? Our friends and family are supposed to tell us, oh, you know what, Cindy, this is great. I'm going to give you a pat on the back. But I'm not doing you any justice if I allow you to put out something that's terrible.
Yep.
Because, well, and frankly, that's how I get my referrals, right? Because I helped you create something great. You're going to now tell somebody else that.
Exactly.
And you kept us accountable.
That's right.
So I have to ask you, because I'm trying to picture in my mind. I always like these visuals. So we give you our manuscript or our Google Doc.
Our mess of a document.
What do you do? Do you just like sit at your computer and read it like right through to the end? I mean, ours was not a long, but still.
And,
I mean,
we
it's
gave you something completed. At least it was completed content.
Yeah. So how did, like, I'm sure other people in the audience that are listening are wondering the same thing.
Like, how would you make their story real?
Do you read it in, like, now you're doing 5 books at a time, possibly.
Yeah,
So
possibly.
now what are you doing? Are you reading this whole through and then
So the first thing I have to do with any manuscript is do a full read through with my reader's hat on, not my editor's hat. I need to read it as somebody who knows nothing, and I use track changes or Google Docs. I'm making comments, and every thought that comes to me about it, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to say, okay, you know what? I need to get more content here. I need to understand here. I need to sometimes I say, what does this word mean? You know, if I'm not in that industry, there's many times where I have to go Google the word and be like, oh, I don't know what that means. But if I don't know what it means, that's a good chance also that the reader may not know either, right? So first thing is I have to read the whole thing straight through. But a lot of times people send me Google Docs in multiple formats. They'll send me 45 different Google Docs, and they're like, okay, here you go. And I'll have to assemble it.
Oh, God. I think we did that.
It happens all the time. But that's okay. That's okay.
We just sent them all at the same
That's
time.
Okay. You did. But that's totally okay with me. And in a case like that, people don't know necessarily the right order.
Right.
How is it going to flow? I go old school. I literally print them all out, and they're spread out all over my kitchen table.
And
I read them, and I handwrite my notes, because there's something about handwriting, like journaling, right? There's something about me handwriting things. My thoughts flow better sometimes. I can make better sense of what I'm reading.
Wow, that's really important for people to know.
Yes.
It's important. And then with the beauty of having copies like handwritten and printed is I can say, oh, well, how is this going to flow? If I'm a reader, how do I want it to read? Well, I just shuffle things. One time I put the chapter 3 at chapter 13, or I move them around.
See how
it's
it sounds.
easier. It's just easier to move it, because of course we all use technology, but it's not always easy and seamless to move it electronically. If it's in front of me, I can do whatever I want.
It's like a puzzle.
Right? It's like a puzzle. I'm putting it together as a puzzle.
Now, how do you, I have two questions. Maybe you can share, like when you were first starting out, you were taking jobs on all different kinds of writing. So maybe you can give everybody, like I said, maybe people might be thinking that you just started writing and you were writing novels.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's talk about who were the people who are asking you to do editing work or writing work for them, and which industries. And then part 2 of that is, how do you, like when you get a job in an industry, obviously you're well versed in many things, but not in all. If you have a content that you know nothing about, how do you do that?
So first thing, I'm very curious, and I want to know about
Curiosity.
other industries.
Yeah.
Am I hitting all the right points?
Yes, you are. But like when you were first starting out, you might have had some bizarre industry, like to share some of the things that you were working on.
Well, and it also goes back to my experience, right? The things I've comfortable with doing before, and I've certainly branched out and done other things as well. And frankly, it's about I want to learn. And in the beginning, I took on everything. I took on everything. If it was writing a blog article, which I do a lot of blog article writing for various companies, I don't know about, originally I knew nothing about mental health. And as a kind of a side story, and then I worked for a company where I ended up writing hundreds of mental health articles per month with a team. And actually, part of my company, I had to hire writers who were very familiar with writing blog articles. And we would write hundreds every month. This was a great addition to my business that I had never envisioned. I had never thought about writing blog articles. What do I know about writing blog articles?
So do they give you credit for it, or is it
sometimes? So I do write for a couple companies now, organizations, where my byline is on their website or their
probably sometimes you're writing it for them and they're saying it's theirs.
Yeah. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Right? It's
sure.
completely fine.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
How curious they're.
It's a matter of whether whether they choose, what the relationship is, what they're hiring me for. But, I didn't know anything about mental health or writing about mental health, but I had to learn. I do a lot of real estate writing. I don't know anything about real estate, but I learned. It's about being open to learning. Like if I pigeonholed myself and saying, okay, I'm only going to write memoirs, well, that's wonderful. But I've met amazing people around the world writing their memoirs, their biographies, and depending on who they are, what they want to do with it. But I didn't want to just stick with that. So did I answer your question?
Yeah.
I just had to learn. And I liked it because I'm curious.
And are people okay with that? Like they're giving you their project knowing like you may not know anything about real estate or like the electricians union or whatever, firefighting, like
Yeah.
whatever it is. And they're still okay with saying like, do it.
Yeah. Yes, because again, back to the curiosity. I'm going to ask a lot of questions.
There we go.
I ask tons and tons of questions. And that's where the recording goes back to.
Mm.
Because if I'm writing your biography, for example, I want to take down every detail you tell me. And I need to hear your voice and the tone that you use. But if I'm scribbling the whole time, I'm not really listening.
No.
No question.
I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm not
No
listening
question.
because I'm focused on writing.
Yes.
So it's those questions like, well, Jen, I know nothing about firefighting. Tell me more about that. And sometimes it goes off topic, right? Sometimes I take people off of what they really want to tell me, but it's part of the big picture. I need to understand so that I can write about you or in your voice. So it's really about questioning everything.
And that goes back to having good communication skills,
Oh,
which you're
100%.
well versed in.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, what's your favorite? Is there a favorite topic that you have?
Oh my gosh, favorite topic.
You don't have to.
I don't think I have
Yeah.
one.
From what you're
because-
saying, I'm thinking that you don't.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that you're just open to whatever is going to come across your desk.
I'll tell you something that I don't do.
Okay.
I don't write fiction because fiction writers to me are these like amazing people. They're like this aha moment thing. Their brains work differently than mine, right? I'm a planner. I think logically. I can write about self-help and leadership. But when it comes to fiction, I love to read fiction. Love to read any kind of fictional story.
Okay.
But I'm like, wow, they had to think about the plot and
All the
character
characters,
development,
yeah.
and then we always talk about psychological thrillers. Like,
Yes.
there's that plot twist, and I'm like, my brain doesn't work that way. I can edit it. I love developmental editing because I'm amazed at how somebody else's brain goes there.
You're right.
But I will write anything else. I don't have a preference, but I don't write fiction. I'm not that creative.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you handle, like you went before you were saying like you're asking people and they're telling you about traumatic details or you might be talking about someone's biography or memoir of something that's very sad. So they're sharing all of these intimate details with you. How are you protecting your energy so that, because it's very easy to get sucked into someone's story. And when you're actually producing the finished product, that's kind of what you're hoping is to pass along to the reader an emotion. But you in the process, how do you not get sucked into that?
So first thing I tell all the clients that come to me is, especially for biographies, is what you're going to be sharing is going to be triggering. It's going to be upsetting. It's going to be emotional. And I don't even know their story yet.
Right.
But inevitably, if you're telling me your life story, you've had ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to know all of that. I need to know the good, the bad, the highs, the lows. And as Jen shared, like we've been there for all of those for each other. It's I'm establishing a relationship with them. They have to know a couple of things. One, that they can trust me. Because you're not going to open up to me and tell me anything if you don't trust me.
That's right.
Right? I have to be transparent so that they can be transparent. Right? We were joking before when we came about, I'm usually with my hair in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Well, because I have to be comfortable. I need to make you on the Zoom comfortable that I'm a person too. When my dog's probably going to bark or my phone's going to ring. Or I'm a person too.
It's intimidating to share your intimate details of your life with someone who's then going to turn it into a story for the world to read.
Plus, I think you want to show that you're not going to judge what they
Yes.
did, how they did
That's
it.
right.
It's just you're just repeating the story in maybe a better format than what they are giving you.
Yeah.
Huh.
I have to make sure that they feel comfortable with me. The other thing I always tell them is, it's okay that if we get to that point in the story and you get upset. It's okay.
Yes.
You're going to be upset.
Sure.
And although we may schedule an hour, or maybe an hour and a half, it's okay if you tell me 15 minutes in, you know what,
Can't
Rachel,
do
I can't do this today.
Yeah.
We have to start. Or let's table that conversation for another day when I'm in a better space. I'm also very upfront to say that I don't do what you guys do. I'm not a therapist. I don't have training in that area. So if they need a break, let's just take a break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want them to be comfortable knowing that it's okay to take a break and that there's going to be tears and it's okay, you know, if they cry, because I do need to see that emotion, because you're right. I have to be able to now take their emotion and put it on paper and
have the reader feel that too.
Right.
Yeah.
And remember, this is their book. This is not my book.
Right.
This is, I'm the pen, right? I'm the pen on the paper. When they read their book or when their family members read their book, they have to hear their voice. They have to hear their emotion. So I'm just the tool, but I need them to be transparent with me.
Exactly. So I have to ask this question. So how has AI affected your work?
So, you know, among the ghostwriting community, when it first came out, there was a lot of chatter. We were all like, everyone's like, oh,
what's
it's going to put us out of business. And frankly, I feel it's a wonderful tool. It is really, it's wonderful. Now, granted, it has its downside. People that send me a manuscript that's completely written by AI, I can spot it in a minute.
Really? How?
Absolutely.
Well, you have to tell us
Yes,
how.
How would you
Absolutely.
know? Like, even like, obviously, I would think if you've talked to someone, you can hear their voice, and then it doesn't sound like
That's
their
right.
voice. But someone who's saying to you, "Here, this
you
is
go.
my original stuff." How do you know?
So when something's written by AI, there's very, it's getting better, right? But it's harder to tell. But for example, it loves the M dash, right? So M dash is like a longer dash. And in a sentence, so when there's lots and lots of M dashes, I'm like, oh yeah, this was written by AI.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's one little trick.
Okay, everyone out there,
Yeah,
she's on to
cut
you.
the M dashes out. Or
Interesting.
there's a lot of words that will be repeated. The same word.
The same word.
The same word. Like, let's say the word unique. Okay. If that word in one chapter is used 10 times, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is AI. Because we don't speak that way. We don't use the same word. We use a variety of words.
Yep.
Right?
So then what do you do? If somebody hands you a manuscript and it was basically written by AI, what do you do?
Well, I go back to them and say, okay, we have a choice. Either we can humanize this, which is not going to be a lot of work for me, because I'm going to be changing the word unique to different or
Interesting.
Interesting, something else. We can humanize it, or you have to do it over, because you're not putting your best self out there. You're telling a computer to do it. You're having a machine do it.
Here's the honesty and accountability coming back to you. Do it again.
Do it again. Right. Do it again. Do it again.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
on the other hand, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Right. It can help all of us with ideation. If you get stuck on, let's say, what do you want to call your book? You can put some ideas into ChatGPT or any of the AI platforms and say, gosh, help me.
Idea.
Give me an idea, which is great. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, we all get stuck sometimes and we need a little help, but you can't use it to write the whole thing. The other thing is, if I can tell that it's AI written, you can't publish it because the technology has gotten so good. Amazon, all of the publishers know. They know, and they actually will prevent you from publishing.
Wow.
All right.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Wow.
They will prevent you from publishing. So it's really important that it's not written by AI.
Wow.
Okay. So two things.
Yeah.
Is there a takeaway you would like our listeners to know? And do you have some advice for aspiring writers?
Awesome. Takeaway. People think that now I'm going to talk about nowadays. In the past, it was different, where to be a published author was kind of like one in millions.
Oh, it's a big deal.
It was a big
right?
deal.
Oh,
And it's still a
yes,
big deal.
It's still a big
deal. Absolutely. I don't want to minimize it. But the takeaway is that everybody can do it. Everybody has a story to share, especially if they're writing a biography, right? Everybody has a story to share, right? There's that cliche about it's about the dash, right? In your on your tombstone, right? We all are. If you're breathing, you have a story to tell. So it doesn't really matter. Don't look at the big names out there of who's written or who's gotten published. You can do it. Everybody can. So for the aspiring writer or the author, you just have to start. You have to start. You have to start.
Right.
Because the number of people that come to me and say, oh my gosh, everybody says I have a story. My life has been amazing. I have to share it. Okay, start.
Yeah.
And that literally
And that's
can
the hard.
be-
That's where you
That's
go.
the hard
step.
part.
Yeah.
Take
Take
one
one step.
step.
One step. And it literally can start with journaling. Journal everything. And frankly, the number of times people have sent me their literal handwritten journals. They send me their journals.
Yes, because that's where the writing is. That's where the
magic
That's
is.
the magic, exactly.
They send me their handwritten journals. Or I have one gentleman, he took his handwritten journals, he voice recorded it, transcribed it, and sent it to me. Great. That was perfect.
That's a
super
start.
idea.
That's a
Because then
start.
it's written out for me in type.
Yep.
Right. It's
Yep.
great, but you have to start somewhere. You can't just say, oh, I have something to say or I have a story to tell, because, well, if it's stuck inside, if it's in your brain, nobody's ever going to hear it.
Yeah.
So, Rachel, I have to say something. You really could give talks. So I think that, this might be something you think about in the next 5 years, is going on the road and talking about writing.
Yeah. So
And
for
editing.
someone who said, no, I'm not really
Good
into being public speaking, you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I have to
telling
ask you one thing, because we are starting to run out of time, but going back to the fact that now your business is you work from home. Okay. And we know now, like all these jobs, more and more people are working from home, and that is creating a huge benefit in some way, but in the mental health world, it's creating a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So what do you do to make sure that you're not one of those people who is working from home and just staying at home all day long? Because it's easy to just get stuck in the house.
It's very easy. It's comfortable, right? What's that saying where it's like business on top, party on the bottom, right? You can be in your pajama pants and be presentable on top, but that's comfortable. So now I really make it a point to go out. I go to the gym. I used to work out at home, and now I go to the gym. We were just talking about this yesterday, but working out at home is great, right? But that means more time in my house, in my comfort zone, in the same space.
Yep.
That means more time looking at my computer versus interacting with actual living, breathing people.
And that's so important, because we were just talking about it. Like, people will tell me that they're working from home all day long, and then they're exhausted. And then what are they doing after work? They're sitting on the couch and putting the TV on.
Yeah.
So you're making a concerted effort to get out.
Effort. And my children are grown now. So it's also about, what am I doing now for me?
That's right.
Right? I love my babies. I love them.
But they're not babies
But
anymore.
they're not babies anymore. And they're doing their own thing. Like, they're not sitting home watching a movie with mom.
Right.
They're out with friends. Well, my daughter, I'll give her credit for all of this. She says, Mom, when we go off to school, you need to find a hobby. And then but when she came home from school this summer, she's going to be a senior now. But when she came home this summer, she said to her friend, my mom got 7
hobbies.
7 hobbies. Because working from home is wonderful, and I meet amazing people, but they're online.
Yeah.
Right. I don't get
There's not human connection.
And so now, right, I do things at the library. I swim at the pool. I'm taking salsa lessons.
Oh,
right.
lovely.
So it's fun stuff. Things that I didn't get to do, maybe because they were young.
Right.
And I was so involved with career and family, and now,
Yep.
okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
But it's really, really important.
You
that
have to get
I
out
have
of your
to get
house.
out. And I'm not really that type of person where I sit home all day. Right?
No, you're not.
I don't sit on my
The
butt
fact that
a
you're
lot.
sitting now is a miracle.
That's right.
But so before Cindy has some final questions, I'm sure there's someone out there that's going, okay, like, I listened to her for a reason. Today's the day I'm going to start writing. I need to talk to her. How can people find you, and where can they make an appointment?
Great. So my website is makingawayWriting.com. My phone number, my email is there. People can reach out to me, absolutely. Or through my LinkedIn profile, if you're on LinkedIn, is just my name, Rachel Arterberry.
Okay.
And they can reach out, and we can see if we can make it work.
We'll put all that in the show notes, so you don't have
exactly.
to worry about that for now.
All right. So some final questions. We didn't give you these ahead of time.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
I'm scared.
So just right off the top of your head, how do you view failure?
It's funny. On my phone, on my calendar, there's actually a message that comes up at noon every day, and it says, failure is not an option.
Okay. So what does that mean?
So what does that mean to you?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Look at you
Like,
two.
you didn't answer the question.
It's not an option. And failure means different things. Like, sometimes I look at my 3 careers and I say, gosh, have all these master's degrees in international business, and I had a plan for my life. Did I fail because I'm no longer doing that? It's easy to slip into that mindset and say that I did, right? Oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I have a degree in. It's not failure. It's just, it doesn't fit my lifestyle anymore. It's not where my mindset went. It's not what my vision changed. So I don't think I failed at all. Like, did I work for that job for 8 years? It was a means to an end. It was a great transition period for me to get my feet wet with what I'm doing. It wasn't failure. It wasn't my lifetime love to stay there. But, failure is giving up. Really, I didn't give up on anything.
Right.
I just
No,
changed.
you just changed.
Just
pivoted.
changed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just change
Sure.
direction.
Exactly. So what are your 3 most important strengths? Don't overthink it.
Oh my gosh.
You have many.
Yes, you have many.
Thank you. My most important strengths. I think I communicate well.
Mhm.
I think I'm smart.
are.
Some of these are uncomfortable to say,
That's
right? When
okay.
we talk
We
about
talk about
ourselves.
ourselves.
If I
But-
said, what's your weaknesses,
Yeah,
you'd be
we-
all over.
Right, I have a list,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
We all
So
would.
that's 2.
That's 2. And I work hard. I work hard. I'm passionate about it, about what I do. I love what I do. I want to see other people achieve what they are passionate about. And maybe that means, taking your book on the road and your book is just your calling card, but your passion is working with dogs. I don't know. But if
Right.
I can help you, so I love that. I love to help other people achieve their dream.
And I can see that you kind of reek of passion
Yes.
for
yes.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
that's
You
why
do
I
work
really
hard.
think your next thing is to be a speaker. I
Yes.
usually pick
You're
a
pretty
new
good with that,
vocation
though.
for people, so
Mhm.
My husband's a motivational speaker and he's really good at it. And I'm like,
Well,
he can do that.
It's not necessarily a
No.
motivational speaker. It's a different kind. You're
Sure.
offering.
You're offering advice
well,
and guidance.
Yeah, guidance.
Guidance,
I like
yeah.
the word
Yes.
guidance.
It's not
better.
you're not
Yeah.
it's not motivating.
Yeah.
You're telling people
How to do this.
to do this. It's instructional.
This is how you can do it.
Instructional.
Instructional.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we
Yes.
end every episode by asking you 3 questions, and you know the questions because
You helped
You
us with it.
edited
You
it.
edited
I
them.
know.
but let's see how you do. Is there something you want to change?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, what is holding you back?
Fear. Fear is a
Okay.
big one.
So what's one thing you can do to move forward?
Oh my gosh, what's the one thing to do? Oh my goodness. I guess set the intention. Like, actually say I'm going to do it,
Yep.
and then just do
say
it.
it out loud.
right? You got to
Right,
say it.
yep.
And actually, listening in my head to what all the things I've been talking about, I guess I kind of did that throughout my various career changes, right? I put it out there and I said, I'm going to tell my company to let me go.
Right.
Or I
That's
said,
scary
I'm
as
going to, say I'm going to have my own company say someday. Scary.
Very scary.
Scary.
Yep.
And it's about having the right people, right? Having the right people supporting you, right? My friends, my family, my husband supported me, like you said with Mark.
Mhm.
Like, he asked you the tough question. My husband's asked tough questions, but they're there just as a go, oh, let me think about that.
Challenging. so
Right.
They're
that you
challenging,
force
yeah.
you
So
to
you're making the right
rethink
decisions.
this.
Yes. Exactly.
Or think of it in a different way.
Mhm.
So, what is going well in your life?
Gosh, there's so many things that are going well. It's hard to say.
That's a great answer.
It is.
Yes.
It's good. And
So
so
life
many
is
things
good.
going. Life is
Yeah.
good.
And you can tell that things are going well in your life just
Thank
from your
you.
presence.
Yes. So
you.
thank you. We
Yeah,
are
thank you.
running out of
Thank
time,
you.
but
Thank
we've
you for
been
having
wanting to
me.
have Rachel on for a very long time. And now it's great that we're all getting to meet in person.
Yes.
So if you are thinking of writing a book or you think Rachel can help you, please reach out. And as always, we record this podcast at Black Swallowtail Studios here in Eatontown. We have a great crew. We're so happy to be here doing this work. And we will be back. Actually, tomorrow we'll be back here with recording another episode. And Cindy always has some final.
Yeah.
Thoughts
So
for our
remember to
audience.
pause, breathe, and respond instead of react. And also remember to do hard things. And Rachel is certainly an example of doing hard things.
Yes.
Do or try.
Mm-hmm.
She's a doer.
She's a doer.
All right.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much.
Thank you so much both for having me today.